serious face. In all seriousness, sometimes you, in the journey of evolution of life, you just feel like you hit a wall with everything that you've been taught. And so kind of, but not sort of, sometimes you feel like life is just like falling apart. Life is turning upside down. And those are like when you hit those pivots, when you learn new emotions, when you learn new feelings that you didn't know you had. And honestly, in the times of emotional intelligence. But I can say when you're in those times, hey y'all, welcome back to Holistic Flow. I am your girl Lolo, and in this video, I'm gonna put my serious face on. In this video, I'm gonna talk about why I've been feeling lost in life. No, I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, serious face. In all seriousness, sometimes you, in the journey of evolution of life, you just feel like you hit a wall with everything that you've been taught. And so kind of, but not sort of, sometimes you feel like life is just like falling apart. Life is turning upside down. And those are like when you hit those pivots, when you learn new emotions, when you learn new feelings that you didn't know you had. And honestly, in the times of emotional intelligence. But I can say when you're in those times, they suck. And I'm going to talk about in this video particularly why I thought about deleting social media so many different times now. And it's difficult to connect to other human beings. I can't really understand or explain some of these points enough, but it's sort of like if you know. If you've understood, then you've understood. When you get to a certain point internally within yourself, and have gone like so deep within thought, within life questions, and within self-discovery, you sometimes hit a point where you realize it's gonna be difficult to connect with other human beings on a certain level that you were able to connect with when you were younger, when you were honestly less mature spiritually, mentally, emotionally, mentally. Is that a word? Spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And sometimes you kind of like mourn the person who you used to be, the naive person that you used to be, the immature person that you used to be. And it's weird because a lot of the times when we're that person, we're like, I want to be here. I want to have this level of maturity. I want to have this level of understanding. But I'm telling you, don't rush the process. This channel is all about creating a overall bigger awareness of your mind, body, and spirit connection. But I'm telling you, a journey is never ending. And you do not want to rush something that hasn't come yet. Because if it was supposed to come, it would have been here. It would have been in your face. It would have been in your life. If it was supposed to be here already, it was supposed to be here. And you don't understand until you get there, the there that you wish that you were when you're still here. You'll understand what you get when you get there, that, you know, why you had to wait until you got in that certain state of mind or that certain frame of mind or that certain position and get around these certain type of people to even fathom the information that you have now. But anyways, getting very ahead of myself. One of the ways that this feeling has manifested itself is by my disgust with media in general. I think I've talked about in a few videos how one of the main things that happens, I think for many people, and that has happened for me during just emotional maturity and emotional and spiritual growth, is the rejection of stimulating all of your senses with garbage. And I'm talking, you know, reality TV, binge watching Netflix and Hulu, even a lot of the music that we listen to, most of the music, and being super hyper aware of what you're feeding your five senses: sight, hearing, taste, smell, all those things that go through your spiritual holes, what's going into them. And I have been disgusted about posting on social media. It was actually recently my birthday in August, the last day of August actually. Virgo. But that was so Virgo. I didn't even post anything for my birthday. I didn't, do a happy birthday post or anything like that, because long before then, I just came to this hard stop of being motivated to showcase to the world what I was doing, even business-wise, social-wise. And I realized that a lot of our keeping in contact with people is characterized by looking at somebody's story on social media, or looking at their Facebook story or their Instagram story. If you're on Facebook, I don't know, a lot of, Gen Zs are not. And just by doing that, just by checking somebody's Instagram page, you feel like it's the equivalent to checking in on them or texting them or calling them. And I think that when you are a person who people call you for advice, people text you for advice, people ask you for advice about this and that life situation, and you're always the coach in somebody's life, or you're always the advice giver, you're considered the strong person. You're considered the strong family member. You're considered the strong friend. And you have to do this thing where, because of your emotional intelligence, you have to be your own coach, because you're also everybody else's coach. And so how are you going to be coached by someone who only sees you as their advice giver, as their coach, as their mentor? What did I even make this video about? I think altogether, one thing that is super prevalent in today's society is the copy paste. Like, what I really mean is the power of technology, the power of duplication, the power of just the way that media portrays one image or one person's voice on social media as just the loudest thing ever. And then it looks like that is what most people think, when it's really only what one person thinks. Most of all, I think that AI has played a part in this. I'm not sure where this video is going, because sometimes I can just talk. But anyways, this video is going to be all over the place. Do y'all understand that someone can take my voice off of this video or wherever they get it and record it, and then make a whole podcast with my voice talking on the podcast, but I never said those words? Or someone could take a picture of you and scan your face and record a video of themselves sitting in front of a camera doing all these emotions, hand gestures and things like that. And because they have a scan of your face or your image or the way that you do your body language, they can duplicate that as if it were you. And it's not you. I think this whole AI thing, it's really super new. So some of you all might not even understand what I'm talking about yet, but you will. It's kind of scary, but let me just be honest. I use AI kind of like in my day-to-day life now. The reason why is because I've thought about deleting my social media accounts, all of them, including YouTube, within the past month. I thought about deleting it all and just seeing what I could do with my life without it. But I realized something. Deleting social media won't solve the problem of being overwhelmed and overstimulated, because there will always be something else that comes along that will overwhelm you and overstimulate you, that emulates whatever you last deleted. Like, for example, Twitter, I don't know whatever happened with them, they started charging people for their posts or whatnot, or to see extra posts or whatever. And so everybody on Twitter just ran to Threads, and like in a day there were like 5 million people on Threads already, right? So if there's not one thing that you subscribe to, there's going to be another thing that comes along that makes your life easier, that you're going to subscribe to. And because it makes your life easier, it's not so much about whether you like using that platform or that technology or that phone, even iPhones, right? Or Android, Team Android. It's not about whether you like using an iPhone or Android. It's the fact that if you don't upgrade your iPhone in 2 years, that hoe gonna shut down. Your power, you're not gonna have no battery, you're not gonna be able to text nobody, call nobody, you're gonna need a potato phone, you're gonna need a flip phone. So it doesn't become about, oh, I'm on social media because I like being on social media, or I'm using this device, or I'm using this piece of technology because I like it. It becomes more so about surviving and keeping up with the digital age and even the music and the media. You know, TV shows, that can get exhausting. I just remember that my friend group when I was younger, probably in high school or college or whatnot, all we used to talk about were memes that we saw on Twitter or you know, what was going on our reality TV show that we were watching, or if conversations even become surrounded by what's happening in the news or what's happening in the media, and that's all you have to talk about, then you realize that something is consuming your mind that is not serving you. Because let's face it, 99.5% of the thoughts that we have throughout our day probably did not originate from our head. They originated from some type of outside source that contributes greatly to all this mumbo jumbo that we have circulating around in our mind. Anxiety, depression, just all of these different thoughts. And they don't even come from us. They come from all of these different things that we have to deal with. And honestly, some of those things aren't even things that we have to, that we want to do. They're things that we feel like we have to do in order to keep up. Because if we don't keep up, we will get left behind. So the solution to that, you know, because there's always a solution, I think it's about balance. The reason why I didn't end up deleting my social media, I still have Instagram, but I haven't posted in a while. Eventually I'll find something to post about. Maybe not. But the reason that I haven't deleted it yet is because I realized that you can't really escape something that's never going to go away. As long as you're living in the matrix, which is like the planet Earth, in society, and especially in America, you're going to have to find every way within everything that you do to regulate what you're doing. Deleting Instagram, if you're overwhelmed by Instagram, it will be a temporary problem solver. And yes, I think we should still take social media breaks when we're overwhelmed. By all means, please do that. Still, you know, cut out movies and TV shows when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel super anxious, and when you feel like you're dependent on it, especially. But all of those things are temporary fixes, because after that week is over, after that month is over, after those 3 months are over, or that year or whatnot, there's going to be another distraction or something newer that comes out that is going to be even more revolutionary, because it makes people's lives easier. It makes people's lives more convenient. It's entertaining. You're gonna want to watch it. And yeah, some things are for entertainment that are out in the media, technology, etc., and just out in the atmosphere. But most of these things are being embedded in our system. System meaning our physical life, in this matrix that we live in. Most of these things are being embedded in the matrix in order for us to feel like we need them to survive. We're dependent on them. But everything comes with balance. We need to learn how to regulate, because we can delete here and there all we want, fast here and there all we want. Definitely keep fasting. You know, keep praying about it if you're a spiritual person. But eventually, that fasting and that praying is so that we can learn to regulate and take breaks when we know that we need to take breaks. Take a break not when you're at 5% and searching all over frantically for your charger, hoping that you don't die. Not literally, but you know, talking about iPhone or Android. If you're team Android, hey. But you need to take a break when you're at like 50% or maybe even 45. Don't wait till 0. Don't wait till 5%. Take a break when you are still half full, because then you still have some to give. You'll always be giving. You don't want to give too much that you're not replenishing yourself. And that's the message for today. Let me know if you enjoyed this message, and give me a like or a thumbs up if you resonate with any of the things that I said. Comment down below what's the next video that you want me to produce, and I'll produce it for you, because I love producing here on YouTube. That's one thing I really, really enjoy doing. So thank you all for your comments and your interaction all the time. I highly, highly appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, I'm sending peace your way, love your way, and joy to you, your family, and your friends. All right, y'all. Peace.